Hello, Al Pals. This is Big Al, and welcome to the first Big Al Presents Tuesday Night Geek Chat, or the time slot formerly known as Office Hours from the Professor Geeks show. With me is, of course, Troy Pacelli, the Klingon cleric. Say hello, Troy.
Howdy, y'all.
Okay, you didn't do the Big Al thing. Yeah, that's all
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to steal your thing.
I was just wondering to see. I wonder if he'll do it, but no, that's all right. That's fine.
I'll say goodnight, Gracie, at the end.
We're all different here. I mean, whatever. But like I said, this is the time slot that the professor usually occupied. We don't have an official name for this little show right now, as it would be on my channel yet. We're still discussing it, and if you guys want to throw out some suggestions, we don't know if we want to keep the professor school classroom thing, or if we just might want to go a little wider, or just general geekdom. I don't know. Let's,
Yeah, my thought was I wanted to keep that idea going, especially since, Big Al is the TA. And what would a TA do when the teacher's away? He'd take over the class and he'd lead the study group. So I was thinking.
Yeah, but I'm not as I'm not as professorial as Michael is.
Well, but none of the TAs that I knew in college were either. You know, the study groups were, let's read this chapter. Hey, who's got the beer?
But yeah. But you know what? We'll figure it out. We're just a couple of guys hanging out on a Tuesday night with our buds, with the Al Pals and the Pacelli peeps.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what you're going to do, but I'm going to go there.
Melissa Harris. Hello, everyone.
Got exact change only. Got no. Thank you. QBS, Casey Scott in the house. Mohammed, Howdy Doody. Just trying to make sure and get everybody.
Howdy Doody's in the room.
Yes, Howdy Doody, the little red-haired puppet. Always good. If we could only get Clarabelle, now that
these kids absolutely have no idea what we're talking about. You realize we're going to turn this into the Boomer Show if we keep this up.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an option. He's getting a little on the Boomer side. I am technically not a Boomer.
Yeah,
and neither are you. I am technically.
That is true. That would be our parents' generation.
Yeah. I am a Gen X. I am a Gen Xer.
Me too.
Even me, I am a Gen Xer by the slimmest of margins.
Yeah, I'm more of a Gen Double X, depends on who the maker is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Casey Scott says study hall. I thought about study hall.
Oh, study hall. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, I thought about that one. But it's an option. I liked someone said in my chat the other day they had live geek and prosper, and I kind of dug that little phrasing that someone brought up. Okay, I don't know if Melissa Harris. I didn't know if I said hi to DR. Nate Kornoff. Detention. Oh, that'd be a good one too. Detention.
Or we could go with study hall when you're leading the class, and if I got to take over for a night, then it's detention.
We can have Nanette roaming on chat with her wrench, throwing kids into detention if they get out of trouble.
There you go.
That would be funny.
No, not two geeks going at it. Dr. Yeisley. No.
No. We're not gonna go there. Wolf 10 Media. Hey, how you doing? But yes, like I said, we're just going to be talking. We got a few things to chat about, and a few more things that that's part of the and more. That because you never know what else. Because something came up today that really shocked me, and I want to tell it to you because, well, I did cover it quickly, but let me cover it for those who know that we are the Star Trek. Star Trek fans. It seems the JJ verse, the Kelvin verse, the Chris Pine as Kirk verse is not as dead as we may have thought it was. Uh, it seems that showrunner, um, producer, creative force, whatever you want to call him, Noah Hawley, is now attached to try to bring Star Trek 4 into full fruition. And if you haven't heard of Noah Hawley, he's the creative guy behind the Fargo series, and he also did Legion, which was a show on FX, which was the adaptation of the Marvel comic based on the son of Professor X. So he's got some geek cred. So I'll give him that. I watched Legion. It was a 3-season series, really far out, but it was visually stunning. And like I said, it helped if you did drugs to really get that show, because it was far out. He created an entire different universe, and it was great. It had a '60s aesthetic, and the colors, design. It was just really well done. So, um,
well, that's got me worried, because what we don't need is another universe in Star Trek.
yeah,
However, I
yeah,
do
but
like what you said about a '60s aesthetic. So
yeah,
kind
well,
of
we'll see. I'm sure if he's taking over, they're going to have to keep the the aesthetic primarily what we've already got, which is the best. I mean, let's face it. I never like to picture engineering as a brewery, which is what they used, I
yep.
believe.
Yes, they
And
did.
of course, never a fan. Now, I will say, and I've given this some thought. The JJ Prize,
Yep.
not the best starship. However, some of the other starships, like even the Kelvin,
Yeah. I
there
did
were
like
some
the Kelvin, I'll admit
there
that.
were some good design elements floating around in there. They just didn't work for the Enterprise, and I've seen alternate artistic depictions of like a ships that are very close.
Yeah.
Someone did a what they call it, the Constellation, I believe, uh, and it was gorgeous. It had the same aesthetic, but it was just everything was tweaked. It was moved in. The curves were widened where they need to be. It just got better. But so Star Trek fans, those who like the JG verse, it's not dead yet. Not dead yet.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, I like I said, I liked the first movie when it came out. It hasn't aged well with me. The second movie was I don't like the way they did Khan. I actually liked Beyond better than the second one.
Yeah,
Uh,
that Con was more of a CON than a KAH.
yeah, yeah. The Star Trek Beyond, it was a little weird, but it had its moments, and I know a lot of people don't like the Franklin. I kind of dug the Franklin. I thought it was kind of a cool little starship. Um, bringing in the Beastie Boys, jeez. But anyway, um, but that being said, we can like veer off that and get into something you wanted to talk about, which was the
Yeah.
Dark Universe.
So last week, the news broke that the proposed new movie in the Dark Universe franchise, the Bride of Frankenstein remake, was going to be directed by Bill Condon. Sounds like the studio decided not to go ahead with it, and we are all just shocked, aren't we? I mean, after The Mummy did so well,
yeah, never say you're going to do a franchise before you've put out the first movie, especially when that first you have put all your chips on one number. Let's use the Vegas reference. You're playing roulette. You've got 10,000 chips. You're putting them all on one number, and it doesn't even come close. That
Well,
I mean, I will say that I finally got around to seeing the Mummy. Uh, it, it's as bad as people think or who have never seen it. However, I kind of dug the ending, like of what Tom Cruise turned into, but it's not the Mummy.
yeah.
I thought the concept of what that was outside of any relativistic, in tune with the Universal monsters. I thought the concept of what he was fine, but it wasn't the Mummy. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, and Jekyll and Hyde they tried to bring into that, and that died quick.
That was, and the worst part about that was the whole idea of putting all these people in a modern setting. You're by jumping to that, you're missing all of the build up and ambiance that you could have had by remaking films and setting them in their original periods.
Yeah, well, and they try to, and I'll say this, I like the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies.
Absolutely,
They're great.
absolutely.
They didn't it's what they built on it and used the modern epic big budget film concept and put on it, but they kept the basic idea, which
Yeah.
was the mummy who wanted to be reunited with his lost love. And you have that skeletal frame of a concept. You look at that frame for the Mummy, it's nowhere in the new Mummy,
Right.
but it is there. It is in Brendan Fraser, which is why that film has legs.
The other
And
problem that the Mummy has.
we'll
Oh,
watch it.
sorry.
I totally plan to watch it on a rewatch.
The other problem that this Mummy movie has is it sacrifices its own storyline to build the universe, and that's
Yeah,
so much putting the cart in front of the horse. Can you imagine if the Incredible Hulk or the first Iron Man, the whole movie was about mentioning other superheroes and throwing them in there? That's not
yeah,
how Marvel did it. They did their movie with a couple little tiny Easter eggs.
yeah, and that's what you do. They tried to do too much. Well, first of all, like I said, the concept first of all was flawed. Using using the woman, and I know people are like, well, we can have women too. That's fine, yeah, but you know what? The Mummy's not the woman.
Right.
It's just not. I mean, if you want to you do Bride of Frankenstein, that's where you can really have a little fun with this. You can bring in a stronger woman. And how many people remember The Bride starring
Oh
Sting?
yeah,
Remember that little film? That was
and
an
Jessica Biel.
interesting.
Yeah.
Jessica Biel. Oh yeah, Jessica Biel. Uh, that was a very interesting take on The Bride of Frankenstein, and it had did it? Who did the monster in that one?
I don't remember, but he was phenomenal. I
Yeah,
loved him.
He was great, and
That was a whole.
I want to say, what did Clancy Brown?
I don't. I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Okay, I'll look it up while you're
Okay,
talking.
okay, thanks. But yeah, I mean, you can have strong female characters. You can just have to make sure you put them in the right character mode.
Oh my gosh, you're right. It was Clancy Brown.
Oh, score one for Al's brain.
Wow. I have got to go back and watch that again.
I notice every now and then. I think like Comet or the movies cable channel will have it, very rarely, but it shows up. I keep wanting to catch it. Maybe I'll have to show you if someone put it in their locker. But truly, you go back to what you need to do, and I know you've created a Facebook page.
Yeah,
based on this, and I'll let you if you want to talk about that.
Well, sure, I'll mention it. So, I I do a lot, and a lot of us in this community kind of do this. We do a lot of grousing. Well, okay, except for Al. Al doesn't grouse about anything. He's like Mikey. He likes everything.
Mhm.
I may grouse about things, but I like to think about how could it have been? What could have been better? So I actually put a group together on Facebook. I'm going to drop the link right now. Um, it's called I call it Fixing the Universal Monsters Universe. I don't like even the idea of calling it the Dark Universe,
Yeah,
you know.
it's. I know the monster verse is kind of weird because you could. A lot of people start thinking of like Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean there's
Uh,
so many monsters outside of it, but when you say Universal
when you say the
Monsters,
Universal monsters,
and that not only
that's
takes
what it really
that's not
is.
even just those public domain characters, but a very specific slant on those public domain characters.
Right. Frankenstein's got to have a flat head. He just
Right.
does. He just
Right.
does.
And I even love the whole story behind it. I would love to see of Universal Monsters if they were going to do this. You remake Frankenstein and you show the brain being put into the head and the flap being closed,
Hmm.
That would be brilliant and
Yeah, you could do all kinds
push
of.
push you to a PG-13 getting close to an R kind of rating there.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it would be awesome. I mean, you've got Dracula, which I know has been done a bazillion times,
Yeah.
but no one's ever really captured the true magic of some of the older portrayals, the Lugosi portrayal, the Christopher
Yeah.
Lee portrayal. Uh, those are classic. Now I know some of them have been good, and a lot of people will stand by some of the more recent ones, and that's fine. Everybody has their own
And so
concept, but
and
you
so
got to you get that right actor to play that role.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And that's it. Casting is crucial. And gosh,
always.
for crying out loud, it doesn't always have to be a big star. It could be an unknown. Bela Lugosi was pretty much unknown to American audiences when he was cast.
Yeah,
You know?
Dracula. When they were making Dracula, and quick plug for my iconic Universal Monsters page. I have a page, and
There's the
you
link,
know,
guys.
oh, thank you. And I talk about all the different monsters. I have different days devoted to different monsters, and not only with those, but like the whole Universal um, catalog of monster films. People forget things like This Island Earth with the Metaluna Mutant, uh, the monolith monsters with these big, gigantic rock things that crush everything. Very thing. But of course, you've got the core. You've got Dracula. You got Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein. You've got the Mummy.
Yep.
You've got the Phantom of the Opera, who's in there. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Uh, Creature from the Black Lagoon, which, if any film recently taught us, The Shape of Water taught us that can be done very well
And very creepily, but
and very creepily. Yeah, I mean, they added you know what? I'll give it, they added the element. The creature just wanted a little nookie. This one just found the right girl. He
yeah,
just found the right girl. And,
exactly.
um, that is fun. Julie Adams, though. That's the
Yeah.
right.
I mean, really?
She was a beauty.
But I want to answer Aged Boomer's question. He's asking about what did you guys think of Dracula Untold? I'm glad you bring that up because that was part of what inspired me to put together that Fixing the Universal Monsters group. My thought was,
Is that Luke Evans?
yes, it
Okay.
was. Now, to answer the question simply and directly, it wasn't that good, but
Mhm.
I loved the idea behind it. A prequel to Dracula that gives you the origin story from the historic Dracula to, the vampire of legend. And it could have been so good, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, it was done very poorly. And then what they do at the end is they jump over the classic Dracula story. They're not going to redo it or anything with Luke Evans, and they go directly to the modern day. Another
Yeah,
big missed opportunity
yeah,
trying to set up their dark universe or whatever.
yeah. You got to keep that Victorian
Right,
aesthetic.
right.
That's Dracula. That's what Dracula's about. Same thing with Frankenstein. You know what? Frankenstein being hooked up to car batteries.
And if
You
you
want
want
you
to,
want lightning. You want the kites flying and attracting lightning.
yeah, and if you want to do the modern setting with those characters, that's fine, but don't skip over, you
Mhm.
know, the establishing story. So that's I have if those of you that do go to that Fixing the Universal Monsters group page, please do and check it out. I have a document up there where I've outlined if I had all the power, to write and direct and shape that universe for Universal, how I'd want to go about it. And I would start with the first thing I would do would be to go back all the way back to the 27th century BC and do an epic, 10 Commandments style, um, you know, epic period piece set in Egypt and call it Imhotep, the Mummy Bound,
Right.
and give you the origin story for that mummy.
Yeah, because it's only very basically touched on in all the other films. But I love that it's a tragic story, really, when you think about it.
It really is. And there's so much opportunity for you to work with, the Egyptian mythology and the god of death. And it could really lead into where do vampires come from? Where do, other magics of the world come from and so forth.
Mhm.
If you wanted to weave together those kinds of threads. The next film being set in 1456 to 1462 and tell the story of Dracula untold the way it should have been told
Mhm.
and set up branching storylines, where you flesh out, no pun intended, who the brides of Dracula were. Because the next movie that I would do would be The Bride of Dracula. After Dracula is apparently killed, um, you know, his one of his brides keeps things together, and we weave in the actual history, and I mean I'm talking about Justina and Paul Suki and so forth. I mean those of you that really know the uh the voivode's history and so forth, and when you draw on real history and just paint over it a veneer of the supernatural, it gets really really cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean I go check out what I'm doing there, and maybe we can do a bit of collaboration on that group. I'd love to see
but
that
yeah,
fleshed out a bit more.
but like I said, the Dark Universe essentially is dead. Thankfully,
Yeah,
thankfully,
well,
we still
but
have
not
the
entirely, because they're
other
still
time.
talking about doing I mean,
What are they still talking about? Oh God, what are they talking about?
they're still talking about doing the Johnny Depp, which I don't see how they can now with the other um uh
Invisible Man.
Invisible Man out there.
Yeah,
And
that's going to be a conflict of
and
title.
and to be honest with you, I think they're just saying that, and it's got to be dead. I can't imagine.
Yeah, because the Invisible Man that they're doing, the one that there's a trailer out for,
Yeah,
that's Hollow Man. It's not.
yeah,
It's not the Invisible Man. The Invisible Man. If you ever want to see, probably of all the Universal monsters, the most dangerous and the best body count, you go to the Invisible Man with Claude Rains because he was doing it right. Uh, as far as the mad maniac who no one can see.
yeah,
Uh, just unfortunately, being invisible does have its flaws and its weak points, but that is a tour de force of a performance by Claude Rains, and it's. I love the story. I think we've told it before, haven't we? About Claude Rains he went to a movie theater with his
uh-huh.
daughter to see they were showing The Invisible Man, and people started recognizing him, and he's like started basically commenting on the movie and talking about behind the movie, and just the audience was entranced
Wow,
with him.
that's really, really cool.
And but it's such a great performance.
So
But
I
yeah,
want
like I said, if you want to know more about the Universal Monster, how to do it right, definitely go to Troy's website because he's got some great ideas.
and I want to hit some of these comments that people
Yeah.
are shouting out. Dr. Yeisley saying a modern Frankenstein sounds like a good setting for a comedy horror. You know what? We've already got Young Frankenstein. Go check that one out.
Oh yeah.
Um,
We'll have to check that out on a rewatch,
and
perhaps.
he says, "How about a Dracula movie starring Robert Pattinson?" You know what? We're getting Batman. We're there, done. Um,
Yeah.
does Hollywood, Aged Boomer says, does Hollywood have an aversion to Gothic horror? I don't think they have an aversion to Gothic horror. I think what they have a problem with is if they're going to do a historic period piece,
Mhm.
they, I don't know. It's
Well,
either, it's either going to be, a really, really good one like Dunkirk. But then again, is that really considered a Hollywood film? I don't know. Or it's going to be so anachronistic as to be, what's even the sense of it?
yeah, and talking about Gothic horror, because you really don't need to be back in time to have a Gothic horror feel. Uh, as I have touted, uh, anyone who's watched the Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, that is a Gothic horror ghost story par excellence. But it's done, it goes between the modern and the past of the family, but it's not an old time film. But it's got that it's got the old mansion, it's got the music, the dark feel to it, and it sets up the suspense. That's what you really want. And it's just so well done. And
I I also think that if you're going to do the Gothic thing, if you really look at um, you know the the historic bride of Dracula,
mhm,
who survived him and whatnot, uh, and do a story based on her as the bride of Dracula, being the one who like brings back Dracula in quotes from the dead,
yeah,
somehow.
you've also got
Um,
the
you,
Dracula's daughter,
exactly.
which was also out there.
You have the ability to give you the strong female character that is so kitschy in a in a in a natural way, not just for the sake of doing it, but because the story just begs to be told.
Mhm,
Just like if you are going to do a Bride of Frankenstein, you don't do it divorced, no pun intended,
mhm,
divorced from Frankenstein. You do Frankenstein, and the bride has got to be established in that movie. And
mhm.
then when you do a sequel, that's fine to do the follow-up with her.
Right.
It
Yeah.
flows naturally. Um, but all this putting the cart in front of the horse stuff is
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
I was just reading what Muhammad said. It's like he watched that too, like a Haunting of Hill House. Actually, I had to text the professor at night so he didn't get too freaked out. Ghost stories are the only stories that really scare me. But yeah, that's a good one. If you like a good ghost story, Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, and they've got Haunting of Bly Manor coming, which is based on another classic work. So the gothic ghost stories are good, but I think with big Hollywood, uh, they look at numbers, and those kind of films don't usually
But
do a lot of bank.
But do they really, Al? I mean, it really does seem like Hollywood today is more focused on pushing agendas than they are about, making bank. because if they were about making bank,
If they're about
they would
making
be
bank,
making
they
some
would.
very serious changes.
Yeah, and well, that could lead us into our next topic.
That's why I did it.
Thank
That's
you.
what I was thinking.
The box office blame game, as I'm calling it. Once again, Hollywood um, creators, in this case Elizabeth Banks, cannot accept the fact that her movie is not enjoyed by everyone. And this is a wonderful film. Oh, you know what? It's because it stars women, and guys just can't accept a strong woman film, and that's why it did poorly.
Yeah.
No, it did poorly because one, Charlie's Angels, the cast had no real name except for Kristen Stewart, who, quite frankly, is just shy of box office poison. She's not a name. In fact, she drives people away. People still just view her as that girl from Twilight, and they don't want anything to do with her. She didn't have any names in the film. Uh, it hadn't been that long since we had Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore in the McGee films, which were, no matter what, they were awesome. Did you see those original ones
Of course.
at the movie theater?
Yeah.
And of course, before that, of course, oh well, nobody likes strong women. The original Charlie's Angels TV show, back in the 70s, that was strong women kicking butt all the time. You simply made a bad film that didn't resonate with the movie going public. Just accept it. Just accept it. And it's becoming a a pastime to blame men for films that don't succeed because they star a female role, and that's totally untrue. Like I said, Atomic Blonde, uh, if it shows a strong female, and people are trying to get a sequel to that.
Yeah.
You've had Resident Evil.
Here's where I've really been thinking about this a lot. I've first what it comes down to is false attribution. You see your movie fail and you blame it on men not being able to accept strong women when there's other factors involved that people might not care for. You choose to ascribe it to that, but you
Right.
fail to forget that first. Wait, are you making a remake? Because remakes don't generally do well. People don't like remakes. Are you just creating are you actually creating a strong female character from scratch, or are you just gender swapping? People don't like gender swapping, even a lot of women look at that and go, no.
Yeah,
James Bond is James Bond. If you want to do a female spy, do a female spy. Go for it.
Yeah, do 009. Create another character. First of all, I have to say hi, Mara Jade. I saw her pop up in the chat here, so I want to say hi to her. But yeah, you look at Charlie's Angels, and really, there wasn't a lot of build-up for it. The marketing was subpar.
Yep.
You see the odd commercial on television, and a couple of the stars popping in on like some of the talk shows, but all they showed there just was this dead feeling to the movie. It just, you were like, another Charlie's Angels movie?
Right.
Really?
That's exactly it. They decided to create a franchise film for a franchise that nobody was interested in. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They keep trying too, because they had the Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore ones hit at the right time. It had been decades since the original 70s series. Then this comes along. Then a few years after that, they tried the TV show, which died horribly because
Yeah.
nobody cared. Plus,
Right.
plus it just the stars just didn't,
And
nobody cared.
therein is exactly my point. That tells Hollywood everything they need to
Mhm.
know. Why would you sink money into a film when you just saw? I mean, you just got
Yeah,
as loud and clear a message as possible that it ran its course and people were no longer interested. Who was clamoring and begging Hollywood to make another Charlie's Angels
yeah.
film?
And like I said before that, Terminator. One, nobody really wanted another Terminator movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, Terminator's core fans knew the story had run its course. Real fans knew it ran its course at the end of number two. But it showed a little bit of life with um, uh, Sarah Connor Chronicles, which of course led to Genesis. And Genesis was sort of successful. Looking back, it made just enough money where it made them think, and it led to Dark Fate, which died, and now everybody's finger pointing. Well, you don't like it because the women were like, no.
Night Owl.
Good. Oh
That was
God,
saying goodnight.
I'm sorry, but I've got goosebumps. Woo!
Al says he got goosebumps.
Wow, that was
Doesn't she have a voice for radio? Definitely.
that was electrifying, my friends.
I love it. I live with that. So
you are a lucky man.
I definitely am.
See, now they need a film, Troy's Angel. That's the film everybody needs now.
I am thinking about writing a book, but that's a story for another night.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you just have to create, except a movie doesn't resonate with the audience. It's not because men were against it. Nobody wanted it. I'm sure I'm sure there were people that wanted to see it. It made $8 million. I mean, $8 million for a film with a Charlie's Angels title on a first weekend. Yeah. That's embarrassing. I mean, I thought Terminator's 28 million was embarrassing. This is just frightening. But at least it only costs like 50 million. So it's not going to lose the 100 and some million that Terminator is going to lose.
But the fact is, Hollywood should not be in the business of losing money at all. No, and it does seem like they just keep
lately they are just
bad money after bad.
They are just making the worst decisions everywhere, and just trying to blame the moviegoer. You know what? The moviegoer is going to go to see what they want to see. They don't care. I don't care if it's got a female, if it's got a man, if it's got a turtle, an orangutan. I'd love to go see an orangutan movie.
That's what we need. We need
we need
Every Which Way But Loose.
Every Which Way But Loose.
Can.
There you go. I actually prefer Any Which Way You Can.
I was so young when those came out, and I haven't seen them since, so I can't remember which is which.
Any Which
I just remember Right Turn, Clyde. Boom.
Yeah, Any Which Way You Can was the second one where he fought the guy in Denver, and it ended with them actually being friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Every Which Way But Loose. Every Which Way But Loose is an awesome movie, but it has this kind of really bummer ending.
Yeah, but I'll have to check both of those out again. I'm really going through a nostalgic 70s kind of thing right now, especially with the upcoming rewatch and so forth.
And you have just given me two movies I need to look up to see if I can find out there somewhere. I love those. Those are great movies.
I'll bet if I were to go looking for DVDs, I'll bet there's a double feature DVD somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. Nate Corno, BJ and the Bear.
Yeah.
Great show. Met Greg Evigan. Awesome guy. Real nice guy, too. Rode up in an elevator with Greg Evigan and a girl dressed like Fiona from Shrek. And I,
Really?
yeah, and
Interesting.
my favorite thing was I look at because it's just the three of us, and she's in full ogre female regalia,
Uh-huh.
and I look at her and I look at Greg Evigan, and I'm like, yep, this is the kind of elevator you get only at a convention. You get- and he started laughing, but yeah, good guy because he was I think he because he was there with Tech War, he had been part of Tech War, and I was also a fan of Deep Star Six, which was an
Man,
underwater film he was in.
you're pulling out all the nostalgia stuff. Man,
Oh, I
oh
tell you,
man.
I love this stuff.
Y-
Mohammed has been asking about Doctor Sleep several times, and I'm going to get to it
Oh
here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we should. It's not directly related to the monster talk we were talking, but it's
No, but
loosely
actually,
related.
it's actually partially related to the box office thing. How
Is
many
it?
people realize Doctor Sleep actually came out as a film?
Yeah, it came out and it was out for a week and I hadn't even realized it.
It just whoever was in charge of the marketing for that film deserves to be fired
Right?
because this is a sequel to The Shining,
Yup.
and you let this thing die. Now, I'm not saying I don't know I don't know if it's a good film or bad film.
I've
I
heard
don't know
good
this.
things.
Don't know the story. I haven't read the book. Sorry, Muhammad, but I don't know really anything behind it. But you have done the sequel to The Shining, and it died at the box office. It just kind of got released, and nobody knew it. Horrible, horrible. I mean, hardly a commercial about it. Nothing. I didn't see. I don't think I saw any talk show buzz. Nothing, and it just died. And I mean, you have had Terminator film, Charlie's Angels, the sequel to The Shining, all die at the box office. And what actually did fairly well for what it was, Midway. A film about a World War II battle.
Would you believe I haven't gotten a chance to see that one yet myself?
I
And
would
I
I
want to so bad.
I want to too. I was a big fan. Did you ever see the one from the 70s, Midway? Charlton Heston, Terry Fonda,
I don't think
and them.
so. If I did, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was another version. It was it was Midway about the Battle of Midway, and I was shocked when I heard they were doing another one. I was kind of glad. Um, but I mean, Midway beat, like I said, Midway beat, I think, Doctor Sleep.
Mhm.
I mean, how does Midway beat the Shining sequel? For God's sake, the Shining sequel should have
Well,
done
this is
$60 million.
this is where I go, into the industry, digging, because first off, I would point out that you really have probably very different audiences for those. So just because I don't see a whole lot of overlap, for those two kinds of movies.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't see them as directly competing. But when you also say, box office, you know, yeah, that is a hard one, because you would think a horror film would do pretty well at the box office, or not horror, but scary suspense type of film. But going back to what you were talking about with marketing, Midway actually got some pretty good marketing, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I was seeing all kinds of commercials about it and everything. It was on a very good like schedule on television. Every time I turned around, I was seeing a Midway thing, and Midway finished second this week. I mean, Midway finished in its second week, second ahead of Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Think about that. This is a movie about a World War II battle, a very interesting battle. If anyone hasn't seen the film, number one was Ford versus Ferrari. I really want to see that.
Yeah.
But we got Playing with Fire, which what the hell is Playing with Fire?
No idea.
It's that book with it's that one with John Cena playing the fireman with the kids. Okay,
Okay.
I could see that. Yeah, Doctor Sleep uh, did six
You're
million.
just talking about John Cena, and you say I could see that. His whole thing is the hand
No,
in front of the
I
face. You can't see me.
yeah, you can't see me. I am. Hey, you just scored some good cred on me for knowing that. And not a lot of people that I know watch wrestling.
Well,
Um,
I don't really watch wrestling either, but I just happen to know that, and you know, I realized I don't think you even noticed that you had made that reference.
yeah, I mean Terminator Dark Fate, and it's
That just deserves to crash and burn.
it has it's finished 11th.
God.
Uh, it's total so far 56,800,000.
And when you see things like that, and you see how badly Ghostbusters Whammon film did, and you see these over and over again, it's like, are these not expensive enough lessons for you, Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, like I said, you've got two films that are basically historical films.
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari, which is about Daytona, 24 hours of Daytona, and Midway. But of course, it's got some pretty good star power in Ford versus Ferrari as well. But it's just amazing. Like you look at Doctor Sleep's only made 24 million in 2 weeks, and that's sad.
So there is something else to be said though about the industry, and I really do feel like I was reading an article somewhere about just the other day about how Hollywood in general, just cinema, films, are doing so poorly this year, the industry overall.
Oh,
And we can ascribe that to, but I think if we try to find any one cause for it, I think we're doing a huge injustice.
yeah,
Yes, I think it's the kind of movies that they're putting out, bad decisions, poor management of franchises. But I think that something else that's very important that not enough people are talking about is how the industry is changing. The way people consume
mm-hmm,
their movies is changing, and unfortunately, that means moving away from the cinema. They are going to have to start thinking about how they market their films and
right.
start thinking more about, maybe it's time to start doing something where they're creating movies to put directly onto a platform. You know,
Yeah, do you see the brick? Well, first of all, Nate Kornoff corrected me. It's the 24-hour Le Mans. I said Daytona, which I do know. I know it was Le Mans. I said Daytona because I'm kind of a NASCAR head a little bit. Um,
I
but
don't even know where Le Mans is, so I can't.
yeah, but but can you see like in the next say 25 years, s- actual brick and mortar cinema theaters going bye bye?
I really loathe that idea, but
Oh, I do too.
yes, yes, I do. It
I
it it,
I
it, it
detest that.
does.
I detest that I don't have my drive in anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our local drive-in closed up, and I am heartbroken.
Yeah, I haven't had mine here for decades, and I think
No,
like one of the like the late 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
this was actually the first summer for us without the drive-in, and it's
Oh
funny because last year, the last time we went, I picked up, they were selling a DVD called Going Attractions, and it was just kind of a little documentary about the industry of the drive-in and how they were basically going away. And then sure enough, the next year that one closed. I was just heartbroken.
I love driving, and I know there's some around, and they are indoor drive-ins where there's actual like you don't drive in, you walk in, but you sit in a car that's just kind of there. It's kind of like already, it's like different old style cars, and you watch a movie and it has different food courts around it and stuff like that. I love that idea. At least you get the feel. of being at a drive-thru, and it has like a dome ceiling or something, like glass ceiling, which because part of the fun is being outside and with the night sky. Uh, but just that feeling of being at a drive-in, that's the movies to me.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I missed being able to drive to a drive-in film myself. They started closing just before I started driving, and it just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Truly, it's one of the greatest. If anyone out there has not been to a drive-in movie, it is one of the great experiences that us old timers still remember and just so fondly miss.
All of my fond memories from my youth of the drive-in were when I was a kid, and my mom and my uncle would take all of us to the drive-in, out in Ohio during the summer. And then when I was dating, there weren't any. I didn't know of any drive-ins that were nearby, so I never got to do that whole, go to the drive-in, and passionate necking kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So then when Nanette and I got married, we went to the drive-in and realized that, we're married, so we don't have to do stuff in the car where it's uncomfortable.
There's a cool movie up there.
Yeah, let's watch the movie and then go home and
Well, like I said,
get a room, so to speak.
Yeah, ours always had double features. It was one screen. I know some have multiple screens, like you could different little areas, but ours was just one screen. But some of the great double features, the best one was Star Wars, the original Star Wars, 1977.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
followed by War of the Worlds from the 50s, War of the Worlds.
Oh, really?
What a fantastic double feature. I mean, here I am loving this, and then I get exposed to this new movie I had never seen before. I'd never seen War of the Worlds.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting there like, wow. And because I'm like 13, 14 at the time when I'm seeing this. And some other film I remember seeing, one of the weirder ones was we went to go see Coal Miner's Daughter. And
I like that movie.
And it was paired with Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, the movie that eventually went on to be the TV show.
Yeah, that is a weird pairing.
But I remember seeing
that in the theater. Yeah,
a lot of people forget that was a film first, and it led to the show.
They did the same thing with Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, they were.
I saw both of those in the theater before.
I never got to see Battlestar at the movies.
Yep.
The Battlestar, I remember when it came out, because it came out the same year, the same fall as Mork and Mindy.
Oh, it probably did. What made you associate those two in your mind, though?
Because at the time we had to write a review of a TV show. We had to watch a TV show, and I remember watching the premiere of Mork and Mindy. Sure. And writing about that and thinking I really should have waited to do Battlestar Galactica. For some reason now, there is a 10% part of my mind thinking maybe I've got that a little wrong, but I know that they're always paired because of that, because of an assignment. And I remember watching Mork and Mindy once. It was the first time I ever laughed so hard I had stuff coming out of my nose. First time it ever happened was during a Mork and Mindy show.
I was just thinking about one of the things that was really incredible about that Buck Rogers movie that was not in it when it came to television was that opening segment with the girls on the light bed and rolling around on the ground, and
I met
that James Bond kind of thing.
Exactly, and that's what I told Gil Gerard. I was like, that was James Bond in space.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Yeah, I've been lucky to meet him, Aaron Gray. Of course, I had dinner with Aaron Gray. She was she was right next to me, and it was like so cool. I
Did
swear to
she
God,
smell good too?
I didn't get a chance to smell her. Uh, I didn't. I didn't
Oh
get a whiff.
gosh.
I'm sure she smelled lovely, but I didn't get the whiff of her like I did Marina Sirtis. Uh, but
Going around smelling all the space women. You're
well,
just that kind of guy.
I've got a great picture of me and her that I got taken, and then I met her at another convention, and I got her to sign that picture of me and her together,
Wow,
which
that's
was
really
kind of.
cool.
I always like doing that, having a picture of me meeting a star and then having them autograph that when I
That's actually
yeah,
really, really clever. They got to feel great about that too. You know, it's like they
yeah,
sign all these headshots of themselves. Now I'm signing a picture for you of us together.
of
That's
us
pretty cool.
together. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really. I've done it. I've done it a couple times. The one guy who was in Pirates of the Caribbean, the short bald pirate, Grumpy. He played Grumpy in Once Upon a Time.
Beats me. All I know is
Can't
it was
remember.
Johnny Depp and Legolas. That's all
Can't
I know.
Yeah, but I can't remember the guy's. Can't remember his name. But I got a picture with him, and he had like this like big beard. Then I met him again. He was clean shaven, and
Ah!
he looked at it. He's like, "Oh my god, look at that beard I had there."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an awesome guy. Awesome guy.
But
Um,
the one thing that I really regret about Buck Rogers was when they released it on DVD and I went and picked it up. What's in it, what is the not the pilot episode, it is the film,
right
the edit of the film. See, the pilot, when it came to TV, they added a little epilogue onto
at
it.
at the asking him to join.
And that is nowhere.
Wow,
It's not on the DVD. I can't find it on the YouTubes. I can't find it anywhere.
yeah, I remember that because she had a different hairstyle.
Yes, she did. Because it does do a little jump forward in time, and he's
Yeah, yeah.
establishing his apartment. He's gotten some objects out of the archives, and you know,
I love Buck Rogers. I still, and I did it last night. I was on eBay looking up Buck Rogers lunchbox.
oh yeah,
My One of these days, I am going to pull the trigger and buy a Buck Rogers lunchbox in the best shape I can get with a thermos, just to have it.
you know. I do that too. I'll see like the Star Wars lunchbox that I had when I
Yeah.
was a kid, and I'll show it to Nanette. We'll see it as we're scrolling through, or
The
we
one,
see it somewhere.
the one with it had the X-wing and Tie Fighter on one side and
Yup.
Luke and the Land Speeder on the
Yes,
other.
that's the one. That's the exact one.
Dude, I
And
had two of those. I had those for a couple years in a row.
and I actually remember there's a big dent in the side of mine because it's where I clobbered Joe Jasnos with it. That's a whole other story. Anyway,
I had a guy step on mine. I was
oh
livid.
yeah, that would tick me off. And Nanette looks at it, because I like to share things with her and say, when I was a kid and this was a fond memory and blah blah blah. And she looks at it and she goes, "Oh, how much is it going for on eBay? I can get that for you." And I'm like, "No, honey." I'm just sharing a memory with you. I don't need to own. Oh, I don't. What am I going to do with a lunchbox? I'm not going to, take it to work with me or anything.
I keep thinking to myself, if I ever had something like that, I would pack myself a lunch every once in a while and then sit there and eat it out of the lunchbox.
Every once
Just
in a while, I could
for
see
fun.
doing that, but the
Just for fun.
reality is, I don't want to have to carry something around. I like to go, brown bag, so to speak. So I throw
Mhm.
everything away, and I don't have to remember to bring anything home with me.
Yeah, but oh god, that time when, because I remember that right before school starts and you go to your local whatever supermarket,
Yep.
superstore, and you pick the lunchbox. You
Yep.
got to find the lunchbox. It's going to be with you all year.
Yep.
So you have to get something you want to live with. And I remember 2 years in a row, I had that one. I remember having a football one at one year, had the different helmets on it. I can't remember some of the other ones, but it was that was being a kid. That was being a kid in the '70s. Was getting that metal lunchbox.
Yeah. 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 And then it went to plastic, and I never thought it was as good.
Never the same. Plastic does not have the feel. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't sound right. It just isn't the same.
Yeah.
Functional is all get out, but just not the same.
And there was the potential for those metal ones to rust and whatnot. So
Oh yeah,
I do get that, but
I mean, you see some of them. There are some on eBay that are just absolutely atrocious looking.
so one thing I would say to the younger people that are listening here, do yourself a favor and go check out on the YouTubes. They have, classic TV memories, fuzzy memories, the commercials of the toys and whatnot. Some of them are hysterical,
Yeah,
but
looking back.
oh my gosh, have you seen the commercials? I mean, obviously, I'm into the Mego action figures and
Mhm.
I'm in all those groups and whatnot, and they'll keep putting up the action figure commercials, and it's just so painful sometimes when they show, this superhero and Superman and Batman and Spider-Man and Falcon, the winged black superhero. And it's like, oh, cringe, cringe,
I know.
cringe. And I remember he was even cringy then.
Yeah,
Nowadays, it's like, oh my, you don't say things like that. That's just so wrong.
yeah. God, jeez. I would love to just time travel, or do you know what would be better? Not even time travel, but like quantum leap back,
Yes.
back into my young
Knowing what
self.
you know now, right?
Yeah, back into my young self. Make a few. Well, first of all, make a few interesting uh investments here and there,
Right.
but also just like sit down on a Saturday, watch those Saturday morning TVs, going to the stores, buying some of those old toys that you remember, like I was talking about. I have put together, I don't know how many of the AMT Enterprise.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't know where any of that is. It's got to exist out there somewhere. The refuge, I mean, the pieces of
Yeah.
plastic have to exist
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know where. I put together a canine station with the itty bitty little Enterprise.
Yeah. I remember that.
I put together that. I don't know where it is. I mean, I had a lot of stuff, and every now and then I rebought the Star Trek Technical Manual, the Franz Joseph, and
Oh, yeah.
I rebought the Concordance, the one with the spinning wheel Enterprise
Yep.
guide on the front.
Yep.
Those were the two things I really, as far as book form, had to have. And I bought those. Well, the technical one I've had for a long time. The Concordance I just got again. Couple couple years ago, I rebought it.
I
But
gotta
geez, memories.
I gotta shout out to Dr. Yeisley. He great comment. My brother and I were watching Carol Burnett on YouTube once, and they had saved a small teaser for a new movie coming out that weekend, Star Wars 1977. It's awesome that you mentioned that because again, this Saturday we'll be rewatching the Star Wars holiday special from 1978
Yep.
with Harvey Korman from the Carol Burnett show.
Yep. And
Stir whip, 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 stir beat.
and the wonderful B. Arthur, who
And
was
B. Arthur Maud,
and
the
on
Golden
Dorothy
Girls, and
on the Golden Girls, and the original first appearance of Boba Fett in
yep.
animation.
We'll be talking a lot about that too. But I'll tell you, Carol Burnett.
And just remember, it'll be at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Right, we're going a little bit earlier because
one, try to get the fan man. Two, we're gonna try. We're just trying it. We want to see if 10 o'clock works.
We're hoping that maybe going earlier, and if everyone is in agreement, we're going to keep it earlier because the chances of getting fan man are better. So
maybe not this week, but
yeah,
we're gonna try. We'll see what happens.
But I wanted to just say though, on the Carol Burnett thing, Carol Burnett was some of the funniest stuff.
Oh, definitely.
I remember watching that show and laughing so hard that my sides hurt and I was tearing up. And to this day, if I watch it,
every Saturday night. Yep.
I mean, I mean, the Gone with the Wind thing.
Gone with the Wind.
And he turns and he looks up and she's coming down with the drapes and she's still got the drape runner coming out of her shoulders.
I saw it in the window and I just couldn't resist.
And what's best is when Harvey Korman looks up and he's not prepared for it.
Yeah.
He's trying not to laugh.
The greatest thing ever about that show was Corman and Conway.
Oh, both of them busted each other up.
Busted each other up so bad. And they left it in the show, which was brilliant. I mean, there are some really huge, like, blow up loss, losing it that they cut out, but they left a lot of that, like, just barely maintaining in there, and it is a classic.
When I think of them busting each other up,
really quick, Nate Kornoff saying 10 p.m. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, so that'll be 9 o'clock Central
8
and
Mountain.
You can
7.
figure out your times from there. But
yeah, I'm an Eastern boy, and Troy is a Central.
I hope though that we aren't building up Harvey Korman too much, because on his own in the holiday special, very disappointing.
Yeah,
it almost makes you wish they'd gotten Tim Conway in there with him.
Well, anything like that. Well, Harvey Korman, though, look at Blazing Saddles. He's excellent.
Yes, he is very funny. It's just what he had to work with, I guess.
He's a great, well, we all know that everyone had a little issue of what they were working with in that series.
Well, but it's the best scene with him, in my opinion, was actually when they put him together with Maude.
Yeah.
Those two together. And actually, I don't think she was that bad in that. I think she gets a bad rap.
But, Mark Jane's bringing up the dentist sketch. Oh God, yes.
I'm glad she did, because I was about to as well. When you think of those two together, the dentist sketch is the one that.
or anytime Tim Conway played the old man.
Oh yeah.
That still cracks me
or
up.
Mr. Tudball with Carol Burnett and Mr. Wiggins.
Mr. Tudball. Mrs. Wiggins.
Mrs. Wiggins, can you come in here, please? Now?
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
now, please. Hello?
And she's walking in that little dress with her butt sticking out.
Oh my gosh.
And she said that was the only way she could walk in that thing.
Yeah. I would imagine so.
She said the dress determined the walk. She didn't create that. It created itself.
Oh
God, I love that, man. Wow, we are going back. We are becoming the nostalgia boys.
But you know what? There's a reason for that. I don't see any kind of comedy on TV that's like that anymore.
Oh no! I mean, back in the 70s, you had all kinds of variety shows. You had, Carol Burnett's untouched. Yeah, as far as quality and quantity, that thing was on forever.
Yeah.
But you had like Sonny and Cher, Tony Orlando and Dawn, Donnie and Marie.
Donnie and Marie. They did a great Star Wars sketch on Donnie and Marie. I remember.
I don't remember that.
You don't. You can Google. You can YouTube it up. It's out there.
I'll have to look that up. But yeah, those were classic.
What's interesting is you got Donnie and Marie playing Luke and Leia.
Yeah,
and that was before they knew they were brother and sister.
I know. I still think that's one of the most regrettable little story choices of all time. It always gave me the squeamies when I see episode 4 and then half of 5.
And all the Game of Thrones fans out there are going, "Oh, that's cute."
Oh yeah, that's cute. Yeah, big deal. But yeah, so definitely we're gonna have a lot of fun watching these.
I don't know if Carrie Fisher was my sister, I'd kind of have some problems too.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun watching Star Wars Holiday Special this Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this very same BAP channel.
Owen Lister is talking about Mark Hamill on the Muppet Show, where he plays the double role of Luke Skywalker and Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
And Mark Hamill's only skill is gargling Gershwin.
Yeah, we'll have to look some of those up one day and like do a rewatch and just have a bunch of links all ready to go. I think that could be a lot of fun.
There's a lot of great stuff on YouTube,
But
thankfully.
yeah. But speaking of Star Wars, we still
Mhm.
have the third little guy to get to. The
Okay.
the face, the character that is taking the internet by storm, thanks to the Mandalorian premiering on Disney Plus. Wee baby Yoda, I swear to God, it is now my cover photo on Facebook. Wee baby Yoda. He is the cutest little darn thing, I swear to God. And the thing is, beyond the cuteness, there's an intriguing story to still be told there. And you have not seen The Mandalorian, have you?
I have not. No,
You
I
have
have
not.
not.
Do you have any plans to see The Mandalorian, or are you waiting? Are you waiting like the professor and seeing how it all plays out next
I
week or something?
I think that's probably the at least what I'm going to do. I'm at
Right.
least going to wait until it all comes out and see how it plays out. The one thing that I am fired up about in relation to the Mandalorian is because I know that eventually they will start putting out action figures. That
Mhm.
means I will be able to get a 3 3/4 inch Mandalorian figure that's going to come with that sidearm, that electroshock sidearm of his
Ooh,
that
yeah.
Boba Fett uses in the holiday special, so I can complete my
I'm
holiday special
surprised.
Boba Fett.
I'm surprised nobody um 3D prints it.
There is somebody that did it, but he printed a bunch of them specifically to go with a Mandalorian custom figure that he's putting out, and he's
Mhm.
not selling any sidearms separately.
Ah,
Another guy that's doing 3D printing for the Mego stuff is doing the Mandalorian, but it's going to be a while before he gets to it. And by the time he gets to it, I think the Mandalorian figures will already be out.
yeah. But I do want to thank Mara Jade for helping me uh, watch The Mandalorian. I wanted to watch it. Of course, everyone knows. Okay, first of all, I'm not a Star Wars apologist. If it's bad, I say it's bad. I have said plenty of things about some of the Star Wars
Yeah,
movies
he'll
are
he'll
bad,
say it's bad. He only saw it 3 times.
and I will. Well, you know what? It's still Star Wars. I'll still, I sometimes you just have to watch. I've only watched Last
That's
Jedi.
how he says it's bad, but it's still Star Wars.
It's still Star Wars. Hey, it is what it is. Um, I still want to see The Mandalorian, one, because it's Star Wars and I'm interested in it. And quite frankly, that's the only excuse I really needed. But I got a chance to watch the first 2 episodes over the weekend and just I thought it's a great little universe. It takes place, I think, like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, on the far rim the of the galaxy or what galaxy universe. Never know really what to call it when they do it. And the
So, like on
Mandalorian.
the galaxy's edge, huh?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know if you want to say it that way. A little free publicity for the Galaxy's Edge at Disney. But so
Don't
far,
3PO, we're talking Baby Yoda here.
yeah, what's going? Yeah, baby Yoda. When that little egg opened at the very end, and you see the little baby
It was
Yoda.
in an egg.
Well, it's not an egg. It wasn't an egg. It was a transport pod
Oh, okay,
thing.
okay. I
Yeah,
thought they were establishing lore that Yoda's race comes from eggs
no.
now. I was
What
like,
they have established, one, it's 50 years old, whatever it is.
and he looks
It
all of
is,
it. I'm
and
telling
he,
you, they
yeah,
still look old.
he looks like a bit. What a bit. If you ever see baby vervet monkeys, they look like very old men when they're babies, and that's
Yep.
exactly what little baby Yoda looks like. He's so freaking adorable. But
I do like the
he's
fluffy
wanted.
hair on his head and ears. That's kind of cool. That's an excellent effect that they got going on there.
Yeah, one of the storylines is what the guy who's looking uh wants him alive has the cloners symbol on his shoulder. So we don't know if this is a clone of one of Yoda's species, if he's just a baby uh, of the species, which is still not named. We still don't know what the name of the species is. We just call it a Yoda species. This guy doesn't have a name, so he's this mysterious little baby Yoda, basically. And we found out in episode 2, spoilers, he is in tune with the Force. But of course, being a baby, it takes a lot out of him, and he kind of has to nap for about 2 days before to get over exerting
I'll
himself.
be honest with you. If I was in the Star Wars universe, that's how I'd have to be too. I just lifted your spaceship and got it out of the swamp for you. I'm gonna go take a nap now.
Yeah,
Go
but
run some drills or something. Play with the remote.
yeah, but still, like, the Mandalorian's acting like he likes him, but you still don't know what's going on in the Mandalorian's mind. Is he cute little baby Yoda, or is he the thing I get paid a lot of money for if I get him back alive? So that's still yet to play out. It's very, there's well, I think it was 8 episodes total. So
I have no idea.
so there's still 6 episodes, I believe.
Just wait until you get to that last episode and he takes his helmet off and it's Brie Larson.
Everyone's saying it's going to be a woman.
It's going to be Brie Larson.
It's not going to be Brie Larson.
Okay.
Because they know if they pulled that, people would burn Disney World and Disneyland to the ground. Just set it on fire and let it burn.
Al,
but
do you see the decisions they keep making?
Yeah, but
how can you think that they would do otherwise?
Because that's insane.
Well,
so
was The Last Jedi.
There is poor decision making. There's questionable decision making. Then there's just sheer butt ass insanity, and that would be sheer butt ass insanity in my book. I don't think the Mandalorian.
You mean like a Mary Sue character taking over and nobody caring about her, or killing off, Luke Skywalker in the second movie? I mean, that would be butt ass insane too, wouldn't it?
No, that's what happened.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, when they decide that the Mandalorian is,
I have accepted it. And I have accepted.
And I'm telling you, just accept it in advance.
I didn't like it, but if it pulls off that and Brie Larson is under that helmet, then yes, the entire Star Wars universe will be null and void.
That's your tipping point. That's your tipping point. Okay.
That will be my. I have not.
So we know that you've at least predicted a limit to your sunshine.
Oh, come on, please. Of course, there's always a limit to my sunshine.
Until you get there and you go, but it's Star Wars. So...
The next Star Wars movie, and they have a Jedi played by Andrew McCarthy, I'm out.
I'm not even sure I would even recognize Andrew McCarthy at this point. If they cast him as some old has-been Jedi, I don't think I'd even recognize it.
I woke up about a week ago, and I had left it on Hallmark Christmas movies on my television,
of course.
And I woke up, and he is in one about he's learning to dance or something. And I this thing is like, oh man, and I immediately think, I know, I'll do a joke video for the professor. So I start recording. I was like, I wake up to pee, and that son of a is on my television, and I just had to do this little short video.
Okay,
I laughed, and I sent it to the professor.
I just looked him up, and there is no way I would recognize him as Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah, he's just I don't know. He's just I don't know. I've never been an Andrew McCarthy fan. Just something about him.
He just looks like I've probably seen him in like 25 TV shows. He's got that kind of face.
Yeah,
where I just
he's in Mannequin. He's in St. Elmo's Fire. He was one of that Brat Pack.
Yeah. Oh, I know him young.
Yeah.
I know him young. I just wouldn't know him now.
Yeah, he's just I just something about him. I just don't dig him. But yeah, there's no way that they're going to do a Mandalorian reveal and it's Brie Larson.
Okay, maybe not Brie Larson, but I would still not be surprised that it would be a female.
I don't think so. I think he's done enough. It would have to be one muscular female or one, androgynous female.
No, just a Mary Sue.
But I think if people really want to lose their minds, I can totally see them casting Brie Larson as an older Ahsoka Tano. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it, but I can see them doing it.
I'll be honest with you.
It's that weird.
I would feel better. They gave her a good death scene. Let it be, or an implied death scene, I should say.
Who, Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Oh, during Rebels?
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was still alive in Rebels.
They didn't. They had that scene where she's going to oh wait, is it Rebels? Maybe I'm thinking of Clone Wars, where she goes to fight Vader.
Well, no, she was in Rebels. Older Ahsoka Tano is in Rebels.
Yeah,
after the Clone Wars,
and she goes to fight Vader, and the doors close, and you get the impression that because Vader comes out,
I don't know. I'd have to see that again. But they can. I don't see that character being out of play as far as creative forces if they want to bring her back.
They purposely made it
it's very
ambiguous.
It's very ambiguous.
But I'd rather assume in my head canon she's dead than bring her back and ruin her the way they have ruined so many other beloved legacy characters.
Yeah, Mara Jade is pretty sure the Mandalorian is male. Because if they're going to have a strong female on there with what's her name? Gina Carano, who is a fetching woman who could kick my butt very easily. But is it? I just wonder if anyone out here watching The Mandalorian, and what do you think of it? It's getting very decent reviews, even from people that hate Last Jedi. They're pretty on board right now with The Mandalorian. Troy?
Yeah, I mean, I understand people like it. I am not really that enthused. I'm certainly not going to subscribe to Disney.
Oh no,
more than I would subscribe to CBS All Extortion. So
I would say, I would not subscribe to Disney just to see The Mandalorian. Anyone who's subscribing to Disney, one, needs to be a Disney fan, or two, have kids. Yeah. I could see. I mean, it's a hard press just to say that I would do it just to get the one show, because it's, I could, pay for it for 2 months and discontinue, but still, they would have it again later. But it's, like I said, you get the right people together, and kind of diffuse it a little bit. It could work. But 2 episodes in, I gotta give it a thumbs up. I mean, it's good action. You've had Jawas. You had Nick Nolte playing a character, which was pretty cool.
I can't even imagine that. That's just it's so bizarre.
What, Nick Nolte?
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
He played an Ugnaught. One of the little like mechanical things.
Okay, I guess I could kind of see that. That kind of makes sense.
And he's short, and it's a great character. You really don't know it's him except for the voice. And it's got Apollo Creed,
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers is in it, and Werner Herzog, and it's got a nice little cast going with it. And I'm interesting to see how it plays out. I hope they don't drop the ball. Sure, they could still drop the ball. Of course, anybody could still drop the ball. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I don't know. Ahsoka was Fulcrum in Rebels, says Nate Kornoff. Yep, she was. But so, like I said, I don't remember what her final fate was. Oh, she appears in she does appear in the final episode of Rebels. She is still alive after that fight. Okay, so Ahsoka is still a viable character. Muhammad said yes, Pedro Pascal does play the Mandalorian. That he does. The only thing that bothers Nate is the short running time and the musical score. It's been, I think the first episode was a little over 40 minutes, and the second was like just about 30. But they wanted the second episode not to be as long. I think that was a choice. Yoda for Walking Scav plays uncredited Deep Roy and Warwick Davis, iconic for Lubden, also known as the Leprechaun. Okay, I don't know what that means. K. Scott, most hate reviews I've heard was cause there's no women in The Mandalorian. But there will be.
Yeah.
They've got one coming.
Oh, if you want to see women, see Star Wars Underworld. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Do you know what's on CBS All Access? Magnum PI. Sorry, Age Boomer. You know what? It's on Cozy, the real Magnum PI, which is Tom Selleck. This new guy is
right.
not Magnum. I don't.
And that's just it for all these networks. I'm not going to pay for them for reruns of shows that I've got freaking on DVD. Yeah. I've got whole series of shows.
I watched Magnum when it was originally on, and that is Magnum.
Yep.
This new guy is not Magnum. They just haven't got the. I mean, I watched a couple episodes, so I know, but he's just not Magnum. He just doesn't give the Magnum vibe. They could have named that show anything else. They did not need to name it Magnum PI. And I would have been.
And fine. Higgins is not right. She's very attractive, but
she's hot. She is
that
hot.
That is not Higgins.
It's not Higgins. Higgins is John Hillerman, who is no longer with us.
That's
God bless his soul. It'd be like redoing Boy Meets World and having Mrs. Feeney, the teacher.
Right.
You can't. It has to be Mr. Feeney.
Again, stop with the gender swapping. I'm getting sick of it.
Owen Lister recently rewatched Temple of Doom today. What are your thoughts on Willie? I find her annoying and unlikable. Yeah. Primarily annoying. I would say barely likable. I mean, just on the cusp of unlikable. Kate Capshaw in that film does kind of go a little too hysterical female, typical hysterical female. That just I just think she overdoes it. Good look at though. And Steven Spielberg thought it because he married her. Still is married to her, I believe. Ingeborg, is the new one good? No, it's not. RJ, it's old people television.
Yeah.
Melissa CW plans to ruin Walker Texas Ranger. Yeah, well, we'll see what I think. Jared Padalecki is supposed to play the character, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna prejudge that one until I see a lot more about it. Casey Scott, streaming is now becoming cable TV to get all the shows. You don't need cable anymore. I think if I were to totally restructure now, I will say I like having cable because I do like first run network television. Like I like my Price is Right. I like my Let's Make a Deal. I like my Live with Kelly and Ryan. I don't care what people say. Kelly and Ryan is, for me, that is my eating breakfast, finish breakfast, lay down, and relax before I jump on the computer or get up for the day in a chair, depending on what I'm doing that day. And I love her. She is America's sweetheart.
I am not going to argue that with you at all. Kelly Ripa is
adorable.
Always been aces with me.
She is almost as adorable as Baby Yoda. And why don't they have Baby Yoda toys? They need to have Baby Yoda toys now. They should have come out the day after it showed up on The Mandalorian.
All the Mandalorian toys that I'm seeing are pre-sales for like May.
Ugh. Oh man, I remember when Star Wars was originally out. You couldn't even get they didn't have the toys by Christmas.
Yep. So you had to do the early bird special.
Yeah, early bird days, you got like covers or little postcards or something like that. It was sad. I mean, that's what really started. Like the toy lines are now pre-done before the movie's in the can. CW is just pure trash. It's getting there. I'm weeding myself off slowly. Arrow's only got a few episodes left. Although the Flash was pretty good tonight. The Flash kind of had a nice little James Bond vibe. And I'm still waiting to see Legends of Tomorrow. I'm kind of interested to see how Crisis plays out. It did hit today that the Superman character being played by Brandon Routh is supposed to be the Christopher Reeve Superman, and what's happened in Kingdom Come is happened. And if anybody's read that, it's the gassing of the Daily Planet has happened. So that's what that character has dealt with. So that's the Superman he's playing. I don't know anything else about any of the other characters right now. Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. Kevin Conroy, his Batman is the Batman from Kingdom Come. So he's got like, I guess he's like wearing body armor or something because he's so old and his body's all messed up.
He should have been Batman Beyond.
Yeah, he still sort of could be, but they made him the Batman from Kingdom Come, which you know what, the fact that Kevin Conroy is getting to play a live action Batman, I'm happy with. I don't care. I didn't mind one version. I'm just so glad to see him finally be able to put his face on the character.
Yeah, I think this is just another opportunity to destroy, all of our beloved versions of these characters, because that's just what they do now.
Yeah. Mara Jane does not like the way I gush about Kelly Ripa. Well, Mara Jane, I'm sorry. It's a simple TV thing. She is a wonderful star. It's just a good way to start the morning. I know you would be a better way to start the morning, but I don't have you here.
See, I whenever I think of Kelly Ripa, she's Haley Vaughn from All My Children, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And she's perpetually a teenager, really.
Yeah. I mean, she looks good for having 3 kids, and by looking at those kids that man needs no DNA test. They look exactly like him. Melissa Harris was saying that it was Deep Roy and Warwick Davis did some of the walking shots for Yoda. I guess they weren't like the body doubles that they pasted CGI Yoda on. Gotta give Warwick Davis like. I wonder if Warwick Davis is kind of. They're talking about doing a Willow series on Disney Plus. I loved Willow. Did you? Have you seen Willow?
I loved Willow, but I was always bummed because I felt like when Lucas did Willow, it was like, why are you wasting your time with this? You should be making another Star Wars movie, Yeah.
I liked it. Well, I knew because he wanted to do Lord of the Rings, but they couldn't get the rights, so they did Willow. So he wrote his own story. And that's
which is really where Star Wars came from. He couldn't get the rights to do Flash Gordon.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what? I'll just make up my own story in a similar vein. I liked Willow. I thought it was awesome, and I kind of wish they had done a sequel to it. I'm kind of interested to see where they go now. Do they go with an older Willow played by Warwick Davis today, or do they kind of recast it? And because getting a short person actor it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to get someone to do that kind of an acting thing. So we'll see. I hope they do it. And because I've already heard that they've before it's even out that they've already got to go ahead for season 2 for Lord of the Rings Amazon series. Like the first one's not even done yet, I don't think.
I don't know. I just, again, you kind of want to hope for the best, but I'm just conditioned to expect the worst.
Yeah, sadly, that's what we're becoming. We're becoming a society and a fandom that we're just expecting another blow, uh, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just we're expecting the next big disappointment rather than looking forward to what could be.
And see, and that's where my comments about the Mandalorian come from. I've
Right.
been kicked in the teeth by Star Wars so many times. I I just I'm sorry, I can't be sunny about it. I am so expecting whatever the next zinger is, whatever the next subversion of expectation is going to be, the next killing off of my favorite characters. I mean,
Mhm. Do you ever watch Doomcock
all the
YouTube
time,
channel?
all the time.
Did
Yep.
you have you seen his latest one about the Star Wars screenings?
Well, I saw the one where he talked about the 6 different endings, and I saw one of his follow-ups on it. So yeah.
Yeah, he did the one. He did one. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but it was the report of a screening they held, and it's and like of what was seen and what the story is, and yeah, I think a lot of people are going to jump off a roof if it is actually what they're talking about. So
I just think
we'll
that
see.
anybody who spends the money to go see that damn movie deserves what they get. They really
Well,
do.
and if they want to go see it, they go see it. I want to see it. If I was able to go see it, I would go see it.
Yeah.
I would be willing because I would go to a matinee because that's just what I do anyway. So I always try to spend at least about I always try to spend at least amount of whatever film I get to anyway. So that's kind of how it goes. But
I, I think Owen Lister has it absolutely right. Just make something new. That's where all of these came from. We just mentioned how George Lucas wanted to make uh, Flash Gordon. He couldn't, so he made Star Wars. It was new. It was mostly unknown people, and it became a huge sensation.
Mhm.
Stop trying to do that.
Right,
Just go out and make new stuff.
yeah,
Find a story that needs to be told and tell it well.
yeah. I asked Peter Mayhew at
Uh-huh.
a convention. I was like, "Did you have any idea when you were standing there in that fursuit
Yeah.
uh, that it was going to become what it was?" And he's like, "I had no idea. I was doing a job, and we were having fun, but it was hot, but we had no idea it was going to do what it did, and I don't think anybody did. And but you're right, you need to get the right uh, creative person, someone new, give it, that has a good vision, back it, make something good, and let new creative forces come in. You don't need to retread everything in Hollywood.
And it doesn't always have to be big name stars either.
No, it doesn't. Oh God, oh no. Like I said, and the thing is, you know what? I wrote a review today for Big Al's Review-O-Rama of that Boggy Creek the series. I am the first one to say, if you look at it completely subjectively or objectively subject, if you look,
I don't know. It depends on what the next thing is you said. You
yeah,
say.
I'm trying to say the I don't know if I don't know which term I'm dealing with here. If you look at it completely with an eye of
With an
like,
impartial eye, then you're looking at it objectively.
okay, yeah, if you just look at it for what it for and measuring it against everything that's come before, after, or whatever as a series, it's pretty bad. The acting is bad. The guy in the fursuit is weird. It has a lot of problems. But if you really go into it with the right mindset, that's a fun little series. I mean, it's very odd. I
So
can't honestly
yeah,
say if you don't like Bigfoot movies, quirky humor, and guys in furry suits, I wouldn't suggest you watch this series.
Okay, you just answered the question I was going to ask. I was going to say you've brought this up a bunch of times, and
Yeah,
I assumed it probably had to do with the Legend of Boggy Creek and stuff, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
had no idea for sure if that was the case. So,
yeah. The scenario is there are these two. There's these two characters, a guy and a girl, that work for the North American Yeti Research something, and they're in Boggy Creek to find evidence of the creature. And each episode, something happens, and it's always like there's one episode, there's some bank robbers that kidnap the girl. In another, there's a guy who's trying to rob this woman who is known as a witch, but she's the friend of the Boggy Creek monster. But the creature is put in to a protagonist's role. He's actually a force for good. You don't know that. I mean, he still kills people, but he only kills the bad guy.
that kind of sounds like. Do you remember in the '80s there was a TV series, The Werewolf?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It came off very much like the Incredible Hulk.
It was on
Where,
Fox. It was on Fox.
yes, it was, and they did the whole pentagram on the hand thing and everything. And as I recall, yeah, he killed a bunch of people, but usually he was kind of a protagonist.
Yeah, he was cheating. Yeah, it's like the oh, oh God, triggered a yawn there. But yeah, very much like the Incredible Hulk. Strong, raging, but usually only is throwing the bad guy. And that's what this is. It's 6 episodes. If you like twang music and you know bad acting and kind of that fan film type aesthetic, this is your thing. But it's a hard one to really review because I love this series. It was just so good, but I know how bad it is. Uh, I just really enjoyed it. DRXC, could you imagine if Lucas had made Flash Gordon film with all the actors from Star Wars? Ooh, that could have been intriguing. Would Peter Cushing have played Ming the Merciless?
Ooh, that would have been cool.
Alec Guinness as Professor Zarkov.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Of course, you have Mark Hamill as Flash, Carrie Fisher as Dale.
Yep.
You could have Harrison Ford be Baron,
Oh yes, absolutely.
and you could have. Well, you would need a Hawkman. You would need to have Voltan.
Yeah.
Who could do? You need like a big, boisterous kind of a character actor to play Voltan. But yeah, those would be the actors to play those parts. I think. Harrison being Flash Gordon. I don't think Harrison would be Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I can't really see that.
I think
Yeah.
I think Flash would need to be a little bit younger. At the time, maybe 5 years previous, and I always view Flash as blonde hair, all American boy, and that's not what Harrison Ford was really good at doing. But I like that concept, though. I think maybe they would have been a little young, but you could have just skewed them young. Just have him be like the all-American college football player.
And the more I think about what you said about George Lucas wanting to make Lord of the Rings and not being able to, so he made Willow. Looking back, I'm kind of glad because I'm trying to picture if George Lucas had done Lord of the Rings, and we would not have gotten Peter Jackson.
Yeah, we'd have never gotten Peter Jackson's version, which
You know?
I think would have been would be an injustice to the cinematic history.
Right? Which reminds me, everybody that's interested, the book study is still going on Monday nights, so make sure that you're reading your Hobbit so that you can
chapter
join the chat.
I think chapters 6 and 7. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 6 and 7. Yeah, I think it's into the frying pan, out of the frying pan into the fire, and then the one that follows that are the next 2 chapters, which are going to be a lot of fun. I need to Yeah, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to start reading my chapters. Bill Harris Queen did the Flash Gordon song. Yes, they did. I love that is all time favorite of mine. Oh God. First of all, Queen is just absolutely the greatest band of all time.
Yep.
Fight me, change my mind. You ain't gonna do it. But but
The
yeah,
greatest
that soundtrack
band of all time.
sound
I'm
that
gonna have a
soundtrack.
hard time thinking of someone who I could put up against Queen. That would be tough.
I mean, I could say that there is like a pantheon of great bands and singers. Mine would be Queen, Zeppelin, ZZ Top for a little bit of Texas blues, and Meatloaf. Those are my four like really iconic. That's my Mount Rushmore
As,
of.
as far as and I have to break it down into genres. So I think that in that genre of music that you would put Queen into, I'd put Queen, ELO.
Oh yeah, ELO
Um,
is good.
um,
I love ELO. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, and
they're
maybe
like
Floyd, Pink Floyd.
yeah. I'm not big into Floyd,
Really?
not because I don't know them. I never really listened to Floyd. I really have not been. I mean, I know Brick in the Wall. I know Dark Side of the Moon,
So
but I just haven't been exposed to as much of their music to really.
I heard a YouTuber talking about the things we love and why we love them, whether it's movies or TV shows or music. And you may have this great love for something, but trying to get someone to, listen to your favorite Pink Floyd song and getting them to love it,
Mhm.
sometimes it just won't work, because why do you love it so much? It's not just that it was good music, that's part of it, but
Yeah,
you associate it with certain memories and
yeah.
and
It's
and so forth.
it's interwoven into the
Yeah.
tapestry of your life.
And if you don't have that,
It's
then there's
intense.
no way to pass that on to somebody.
Yeah, you can't pat. Yeah, that it's like all interwoven, and you can't unravel it in order to make someone realize it because it's a part of you.
I mean, for me, there's no way I could convince you to love Floyd the way I do, because for me, it was my best buddy in high school and the girl I was dating at the time,
Yeah,
and those two really got me into it, and I associate memories of those people with that music, so I can't,
yeah. Well, see, I think of Pink Floyd. I think of my friend Chris, a different Chris,
Mhm.
not fan man, and I mean, that's his band.
Yeah.
That's those are the music makers of his life. And yes, they're a great band, but I'm really, like I said, I haven't been exposed to as much of their music as some others have. So it's like I said, it hasn't woven it's not a part of my tapestry.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I look at Queen, I look at ZZ Top, I look at Meatloaf, Zeppelin, like I said, ELO's in there a little bit. I've got Blue Oyster Cult.
Speaking of ELO, we need to do a Xanadu rewatch.
I actually thought about that too. I gotta look for that. I gotta see if I can find that. I love Xanadu. Xanadu.
And see, that's just it. I mean, what was it? I saw a meme. It was that one with the blonde lady yelling at the cat,
Oh yeah.
between that, and it was Xanadu is, it says Xanadu at the top, and she's saying Olivia Newton-John, and the cat is saying somebody else. I had no idea who it was. Apparently, there's another person who's written a song or sung a song about Xanadu or whatever.
Oh, I don't know.
And I was like, well, yeah, but for me, Xanadu, yes, is absolutely an Olivia Newton-John, but it's also ELO.
ELO is awesome in that. It's oh yeah, we're definitely going to have to put that on the radar for that. But once again, speaking of the rewatch, this Saturday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the Star Wars Holiday Special, which originally premiered the Friday before Thanksgiving, and so it's technically close to around the same time uh, that it happened, although it was different, like I said, different year, different Thanksgiving Day, but we're hitting it around the same time. It was originally done on a Friday night, and you've done a great little blurb for it and a nice little commercial for them that are really awesome looking.
Yep, thank you. So, I mean, check out my channel because I am doing promos for other people. I did a promo for the holiday special, and I did a promo for the Terminator last week, and yeah, check that out.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing Terminator. That was a lot of fun.
Got my first copyright claim for that Terminator one.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
I was worried about that.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, they got you for using the music. I swear to God, they have nothing better to do with their lives.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how the hell they know.
It's just like a voice recognition, like Cortana and all that. They have algorithms that are running that find people using that music, and automatically you get hit.
God, jeez,
I know, right?
Nothing better to do with their life. I still don't know why they hit me with Picard. I had no audio on it at all, and it was a reaction vid. Everybody's doing it, but yet they hit me for it. I'm like, what the hell? That's why I'm not going to.
Don't even get me started. The corruption of the copyright laws are just ridiculous. It's an insane world that we live in.
Yeah, Mara Jane saying you guys are great during the rewatch. Thank you, Mara Jane. Of course, we want to get you on here sometime, Mara Jane. I'm gonna have to get her on here.
That reminds me. So I will also. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna have to get her on here and watch You've Got Mail.
Oh, I would love that. You two together on that one would be awesome.
Because she is bugging me to watch that film, and I am very much willing to watch it. I also have an idea for a okay, let me watch how I say this. For a rewatch before Christmas, to watch Die Hard, and you try to convince me that it's actually a Christmas movie and not a movie that just takes place at Christmas. We'll rewatch, but I just think it'd be cool to rewatch Die Hard. So that's
fine with that.
That's a possible one.
I would, yeah. That would be a hard argument to make.
It's a lot of people
feel strongly about that, but if you're really critical about it, I'm not sure how you make that argument.
Yeah. I see. My thing is, it's just not. It takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's fine. The closest thing, the only argument that's in there is that there's a Christmas song that plays at the end credits. If I'm correct, I think it's I can't remember now, but I think that's the only true argument anybody could actually make, but it's just not enough for me.
Yeah.
If they had a lot of Christmassy stuff, or he was hitting them with like with fake Christmas trees, or filling ornaments with gunpowder or something, I could see it, but it doesn't go that route.
What I want to see is the Lee Majors Christmas movie that was referenced in Scrooge.
The night the reindeer died.
Yes. That movie I wish had been made.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
I think that was a horribly missed opportunity. I would have loved that.
Yeah, it's still the best part of that is he's not playing a character; he's playing Lee Majors.
Yeah, he's just Lee Majors, and you can't just call him Lee. It's Lee Majors.
Yeah, and of course, we can't watch that because we watched it last year. So we're gonna have to definitely find a couple. But I was thinking if you guys were up for it, we could watch it. You guys could try to point out what makes it a Christmas movie, and
I
see.
think that would be a fun little exercise.
Yes.
Although, if you do, you've got mail. The professor will
The
pair
prof-
it the night before with a
speaking
rewatch of Shop Around the
speaking
Corner.
yeah, speaking of the professor, he's in the house, and
Welcome, Professor.
while he is here, let me bestow upon him the wrench of honor. So now you can shut up about it.
And don't you feel honored now, Professor? Now shut up.
Because he was always like, I don't have a wrench yet. Well, you got one now. But
And I also wanted to throw out just we have the Saturday rewatch of the holiday special, and then Thursday, those of you that don't have other holiday plans, I am going to be doing a rewatch of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Probably me and Nanette.
do you have a time slot for that?
I hadn't thought about it.
After the turkey coma?
Yeah, after the turkey coma. If anyone's able to wake up by, I don't know what. How about we just go with the time that you and I are doing the rewatches on Saturday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
10 Eastern. Hey, this one's your baby, so
Yeah, well, I think I want to keep it consistent. So
completely up to you. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That'll be my plan. That's what I'd like to do. So
that's a great film. I love that film. Of all, probably one of my top 10 characters of all time in that film is John Candy's character in that film.
I relate to that character too much. So at the end of it, I'm always a blubbering mess. Always. So if you guys want to hear me crying on the stream, tune in on Thanksgiving for my rewatch of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yep. That one just busts me up. It really does.
It's a great heartfelt, funny as hell, and just so heartfelt too. It's just a great film because it almost looks like it should be a Christmas film, but it's not. It's a Thanksgiving film.
It's absolutely a Thanksgiving film, which is nice. I mean, what other Thanksgiving films can you think of? Can you think of any other films that you can say is a Thanksgiving film?
That's not a horror film like Thanksgiving. Which
I've never even heard of that.
There's an actual film. It exists. I was looking up one that we could do for the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And you had suggested the one. I was like, I wanted to see if there were some other ones out there that might fit, but there really isn't. You've got the best one.
Yeah.
And the Fan Man's supposed to be doing Chopping Mall on Black Friday.
Chopping Mall, that's awesome. Chopping Mall,
which is an awesome rewatch title to watch on Black Friday. But we don't have anything for that Saturday night yet.
Good night, Owen Lister. Yeah, we need to be wrapping it up too because it's about that time.
It's almost about time to say 98. But yeah, it'll be something interesting. Might come out with a couple of ideas, just throw them out. Might do a poll. But because the one that you considered was Addams Family Values.
Yeah, right. Addams Family Values.
Because during summer camp they do a little play based on Pocahontas, and although it's technically not Thanksgiving, it's in the vein. It's kind of has that thing. Plus, it's Addams Family. It's cool. But
I'll be all for that.
Home Alone, Charlie's Brown Thanksgiving is another possibility, but it's only 25 minutes long.
Yeah, we need something more than that. In fact, I would not be opposed, especially since we're going earlier on the movies. I would not be opposed to doing a cartoon before the main feature.
Ooh,
Kind of doing the whole, drive-in thing,
the little,
Yeah. Oh, Woody Woodpecker. That's
little,
right.
I used to do it much better, but then my throat got screwed up in surgery, so I can't get it as well as I used to.
Oh, it was surgery. It wasn't the pickles and the corn dogs.
No, I just know that my vocals have not been the same ever since I had the thing, and I had the tube down the throat, and they also had to go do some stuff in the throat, through the throat, so things got jostled a little bit. And
That's what she
I
said.
I just don't have, yeah. Age of Boomer saying Home Alone. I don't know if I can. I don't know. I don't know if
Home
I can.
Alone's Christmas, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that film. I really am not.
Really, I love that film. I actually had a buddy who was an extra in that movie.
I liked it when I first saw it, and then it just was always on, and I just got sick of
Wait, what, Muhammad? What are you shouting about? Freebird, Paul Blart. I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
I'm
I know what he's
sorry.
talking about. Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Okay, yeah,
Takes
that's the
place-
guy from.
Takes place on Thanksgiving. Yes.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Yep.
I did not understand that was the
Because
connection.
because they're getting ready for Black Friday, and that's when it takes place after Black. It takes place on Black Friday, and they have all the stuff. That's a possibility. Paul Blart's a possibility. You might have. I'll be onto something there. I'll have to see. I think I could get a hold of that.
Muhammad says he's joking, but I don't know. It sounds like a valid option.
Hey, I will say this. I am a big fan of Paul Blart Mall Cop. The second one I have not seen yet, and I don't really want to because they broke up the couple that they established in the first one.
I hate when they do
The mess, the marriage didn't last, and it just for me just takes away from the first film.
Yeah.
They it just downgrades it in my book, and you got so much emotional investment in these characters, and then they just do them in, and it didn't last. Oh, big deal. That's why I didn't like when I heard that the NCIS LA was bringing back the two main characters of JAG, and they had split up.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't even watch that show because when the one character was killed off, in the NCIS episode that introduced them, I'm like, how do they bring him back? They somehow brought him back from the dead to put him in the show. So I was like, I don't think I'll.
Yeah, but Paul Blart Mall Cop. That might be a fun one to watch. Kind of a goofy little film.
I'd be up for it.
Yeah, I'd be up for it. I have to think about it. Definitely on the list. Well, like I said, we'll get a couple of possibilities and maybe put it up for a vote, and then we'll just watch what I want to anyway because it's my channel.
Okay, so let's set our sights on Saturday for the holiday special, and
holiday. So here's the schedule right. Here's the schedule right now, to the best of my knowledge. This week, I do know Fan Man's going to have a pre-recorded show. It's going to be very much in the style of his old show. Not quite sure how that's going to run, but it's not going to be live. But knowing him, it'll still be hysterically funny. Please listen to the Fan Man show on Friday night.
Subscribe, do all the things.
Yeah, subscribe. If you like the Saturday Night Rewatches, we're going to be doing this Saturday we're rewatching the Star Wars Holiday Special at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard
We celebrate a day of days.
Time. Oh God, help us! Then
Whip,
Monday,
whip, stir.
on the Catholic Bible Geek channel, the professor will be having the next installment of the Hobbit book study. Looking forward to that. And then the following week from tonight, uh, we'll be back chatting, talking, whatever comes to our mind, whatever is happening that day, things from our childhood, uh, weird things you guys might bring up. Uh, Always remember to bring some questions if you ever want to know anything. And if we see it, we'll answer it. If we feel it Ernest stuffs Thanksgiving. Is that real?
I don't think so.
But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at this point. Um, Adam's Family Value takes place around Thanksgiving. I keep hearing that it was a summer camp. I don't know, maybe, but it's a possibility. Yeah, that one and Paul Blart, I might put them in a mix and have you guys choose. And Age Boomer made it up. I thought
Yeah,
so.
I
But you
figured.
know what? You know what though? They had so many made for video films. You never know what they might have come up with. But yeah, I think we've pretty much tapped out for or getting ready to tap out for the night. It's been a nice little show, couple hours of
Yep.
rambling about the Dark Universe and the cancellation of the Bride of Frankenstein for now.
Yep.
And of course, Wee Baby Yoda and Elizabeth Banks bitching about the box office for Charlie's Angels
Yep.
and all the other fun stuff that we had. Troy,
Yes.
tell us anything else you got coming, anything you want to push, anything you want to push or promote.
The only thing that I am really, really focusing on right now is that Saturday rewatch of the holiday special. It's been all I've been thinking about for a while. So if you guys can be there for that, I would just love that.
It is life to you.
But you know what? One more time, if you want, I'll share the fixing the Universal Monsters shared universe. I know that Melissa Harris just came over and joined the group, and I'm so glad. I'd love it if you guys could read my treatment of what I'd like to see in a modern shared universe of Universal Monsters. Maybe throw some ideas together. Hey, who knows if we get something really awesome going, maybe we can pitch it to Universal and get something going.
And also don't forget about subscribing to Troy's YouTube channel.
Do that thing too. That'd be cool.
The link is in the description, as are links to Professor Geek, the Catholic Bible Geek, one and the same man. He just takes off his glasses, and the Fan Man. So please go to them and subscribe to their channel.
Big Al's Universal Monsters. Just dropped a link for that.
Yep, your Iconic Universal Monsters on Facebook.
Yep,
Iconic Batman on Facebook, and Maidens and Monsters on Facebook, and Big Al's Review-Rama, where I try to at least once a week try to get a review up. Today I put one up for Donkey Creek the series, a little Amazon Prime weird series, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And remember, he reviews movies, but he's not a critic.
No, I give you my honest, but I do give my honest opinion.
Which is always positive.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Read my Captain Marvel, and you will know it's not positive.
I don't know how anyone could be that positive about Captain Marvel. So
it's not. Trust me.
So there you go.
My review is scathing. Even it literally, I think, became a little piece of porn magazine fodder for the professor. He loved it. I think.
Oh gosh, that's a great way of putting it.
It was like reading what's that, like the play
Captain Billy's whiz bag.
Yeah, but
Sorry, I
they
don't
did,
know what that means.
like Hustler and Playboy. They always had those
Little dirty magazines.
dirty write-in things where people give their stories or stuff like that. Not that I read any of those magazines.
Yeah. How do you even know about all that, Al?
I just look at the pictures.
I mean the articles. I mean, no, there's no right answer here.
Honestly, though, they did have some. I haven't seen one of those magazines in a long time.
That's because we got the internet now, Al.
That's true. But I've actually been a very good boy with that when it comes to that. I'm trying to be a better boy with that. So, but yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Like I said, we tried to do our best to fill in for the professor's time, and I think we had some fun. We had,
We could never replace him, only succeed.
Can never replace the professor. Only show up and do what we can do. And but we will be back next Tuesday, God willing. And I hope you all have a great evening and take care out there. Have a great day tomorrow. And oh man, I don't have a sign off line. I need to get a sign off line. What's a good sign off line?
Remember to always stay sunny.
Remember, the sun's always shining somewhere. Yeah, that sucks.
You can come up with something for next week, Al.
I'll figure it out. You guys have a great evening. Take care. Bye.
The Mandalorian is female.
Never. Baby Yoda forever.